That being said, we can jump into Mastermind 2.0. So this is, I think, their big piece de resistance, right? This is a huge change, and I think one that will be both welcomed, but also I wish was a little, how should I say this? I wish you could get more of the variety roll more frequently, right? You might go a long time before you see Cartel or Castle in your options. And it might be where you get Castle 3 games in a row, but then never see Cash Out, etc. I love this, though, as an idea. So the basic premise here is that you're given 3 playstyle options: Lock-In, Greed, and then a third playstyle randomly selected out of your pool. So you realistically get just these first 2 options, and then the rest of them are randomly selected. Right, redraw is included, and then the rest of them are randomly selected. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 options, right? 8 options that it randomly selects from. If you buy the option or not, I imagine that will change if you can get the option. The interesting part, though, is all players. Okay, no, all players receive the same third option. So my assumption here then is that it's going to be everybody gets the same option. So if you don't own Cash Out, you don't get it. But when we play Campaign or AI, all pick is enabled, as well as Classic. So I think, like, facing the AI, you might be able to, like, let's say Diamond AI. There might be a strategy now for, like, Diamond AI, for instance, to play Fiesta, because Fiesta allows you to kind of play on that edge, right, and gain income for losing, right? Basically losing, right? You leak. That being said, when you're playing ranked, you don't necessarily always get Fiesta. You don't always necessarily get Chaos. You don't always necessarily get Castle. So I think this is going to be an interesting change. I guess I kind of want to talk a little bit, though, about where I think the strong ones are and where I think the ones that are going to be situational are at. I personally think right now Greed is still going to be the easiest one to do for consistency's sake. I think the majority of players should continue to Greed unless they find a distinct strategy in these new playstyles. That being said, YOLO being a +7 makes YOLO, I think, a little bit more viable for actual winnability more frequently in low elo. But in high elo, I think now with 7 income, YOLO should be the preferred pick. That extra 2 income makes a huge difference. The extra 2 income, I think, will make a huge difference. It allows you to really scale a lot better, but I think you're going to be able to hit those caps a little bit quicker. Chaos being +6 with no reroll kind of is interesting. I think the reroll is what made Chaos usable for me, right? In Classic even. Being able to, on a wave you get a bad roll, be able to check quickly to see, okay, I didn't get my answer for 7 now, and I'm on wave 7. I need that answer. Now you need to plan a lot more with Chaos and try to play around with it a little bit more. Hybrid, I personally don't like. I think Hybrid is much too RNG to be viable in a ranked mode because it's legitimately random units every placement. So getting synergies is going to be really difficult. Everything, in my opinion, is going to be difficult, though it is an option if you want to. Fiesta, I think, is an interesting one if you're playing on that teeter-totter edge of high income with a lot of income sends. The idea right away in my head is pro leaking is going to be really good, right? So if you can get a build that will like almost guaranteed pro leak on the first 2 waves, which there are builds that do that. There are builds that do that, right? So like if you were to do Windhawk on 1 with when talk on one with it off the wall, obviously no snail, you leak just one creep. If you do a consort only will leak just a single creep, right? There are ways to play that skirting the edge. A lot of times when I play Zeus, I play that skirting the edge where I'm leaking probably 10 to 15% almost every wave, just because I play so high worker count. And now my income will be a lot higher if they're sending me every wave. Though you can play around that by not playing for pro leak or playing income send, and you can play for the kill, right? Because everyone's going to see that you have the option. Everyone's going to see that you have the option to go Fiesta, right? So it doesn't always make sense for you to then play income heavy into them. I think that's going to be a huge thing. You need to kind of play around what's optionable here. I think cash out being plus 17. What would that give us, right? That's 267. 267. So this only really gives us the option to play an LOD on wave 1, a gate on wave 1, and what else am I missing? LOD is 265, a gate is 260. Is there another one that I'm missing that's in the 260 range? My chat will tell me. I like the idea. Plus 17 gold is actually pretty nice. It gives you some, again, early game thresholds while being able to push a worker. It might make you be able to go to 6 worker. So you could theoretically go 6 worker with a Bone Warrior more consistently, because because you wouldn't have the income, right? You wouldn't have the plus 5 income, so it wouldn't be able to do a Bone Warrior Crusher into a single Garg because you'd be missing on the 5 income. So LOD and gates are only 260 you can afford. You could, I guess, theoretically like Violet on wave 1, as my chat's saying. There's a couple others I think you could theoretically go a couple different ways. But with cash out, you have 0 income. You start with 0 income. It'd be like picking a Legion, I believe. So you're going to start 0 income. You, I think, either need to get a really strong unit down right away, or you need to go high workers. Does picking Legion start with 3? Okay. There we go. Regardless, you either start with 3 income or 0 income. It's not going to be great. To me, though, it would tell you if it's plus 3. To me, cash out's literally just 17 gold, no income, from how I'm reading this, because it would tell you next to it that you get plus 1 for income. Or it should be a 0 income start, because you start with 3 income with redraw. You don't start with 6. Right, so like, I think cash out might not be good enough. I don't think cash out will be good enough. I think cash out's more of a gimmicky one, where if you want to get like something like a tier 3 upgraded right away, something crazy like that, even get a quick tier 6, it might be worth it. But I don't see this being usable, because in most scenarios you're going to be losing out on income or gold just because income, right? In a normal situation, I'll have 15 gold by the end of wave 3 because of greed. I'll be passing cash out already. Castle, I think, is kind of neat. Castle, I think, is neat. Plus 35 income after wave 10. This is like the epitome of scaling late. I think this is going to be like the epitome of scaling late. Castle is. How usable it will be, I'm not sure. Because I guess realistically, in most game state scenarios, how much is this 5 gold? 5 gold over 10 waves going to give you 50 gold by by a certain point, by 10, right? 50 gold by 10, or 45, whatever it is. I don't think you die before 10 with 0 income, chat. 3 income doesn't make that big of a difference in most situations. I play redraw and it's 3 income. You just have to play around the fact that you're going to be lower income. So that's something to keep in mind. You got to play around the fact that you'll be lower income. That plus 32 once you hit wave 10, because it'd be theoretically if you started at 3 income with, like, let's say lock in, for instance. I think it'll be viable. This is a great late game scale type situation, though I think in most situations cartel will probably be better. I think early game the plus 10 income will be more beneficial, especially if you're playing an income heavy playstyle. If you're playing a starve playstyle, I think castle will be better. But if you're playing really income heavy early, that plus 10 gold will be a lot better, because you're going to get more workers early, you're going to be able to hit your thresholds more quickly, you can get egg a lot easier on 2, for instance, right? Because you've got extra gold. It makes you open up to more options with Grarl openers. Like if you get a Grarl with cartel, you're able to push 5 workers on almost every T6, right? And still get it down pretty easily. I think going egg would be more viable with 3 worker rather than just 2 worker. You could go 4 worker egg on 3 and still hold more often, because that extra income is going to be really huge early. Right? The extra income is going to be really important early. The negative 35 lates, whatever. If you scale a lot early game, you don't have to worry late game. I think out of the ones that you're going to be seeing more frequently that are going to be usable is cartel and YOLO. I think the rest of them are situational at best. I think chaos is fun, but I don't think it's very good. That being said, sometimes if you get RNG on your side, that random role selection is kind of actually really good. I think in that position they're really good. I don't know, Gourley, if any of them are gonna be better than Greed. You can make an argument for Cartel being actually a lot more consistent than Greed, because you get an extra 5 income over the top of it. But at the end of the day, I'm comparing it to what someone would be doing as a lock-in. Not everyone plays Greed. The majority of people are going to play lock-in at lower elo rather than Greed. So in this situation, I think out of the ones you see below, the ones that you're going to consistently be able to utilize are probably Redraw, YOLO, Cartel, Castle. These middle ones, Chaos, Hybrid, Fiesta, Cash Out, I think are going to be worse. For the sole reason that Fiesta can be countered in selection screen. Like if I know that someone has the potential for Fiesta, I'm not going to income send them every wave. Right? I'm going to go for more of a kill shot every time I send. That may mean just skipping a little bit more frequently after your early game incomes. Or I send less and king up more in those situations. Early game. Denying them the Fiesta ability. I think Fiesta is actually a much better high elo playstyle. But I don't think, Mike, that you should be able to have hybrid sell for 90% for every unit. I think that ruins the idea of how you want to play hybrid. But I think Redraw, YOLO, Cartel, Castle. The middle ones are going to be more of a meme. Middle ones are more of a meme. But I think they'll still have some viability. I think Chaos is actually the most viable out of all of these. Cash Out to me just seems not great with 0 income. Fiesta with Pack Rat, Stan Wolf coming in clutch. Yeah, that's I think a good option. I just think Fiesta is going to be more of a high elo thing than a low elo thing. I think low elo, you're just not going to actually get sends to Pro League, if that makes sense. And you're not going to know what's going to hold more consistently. I don't know exactly how these are going to be utilized, though. The option only coming randomly for the third is going to be interesting. The fact that it's randomized is a little scary, though playing against the AI, now you're able to pick any of them. You get to choose all 10. So there might be some hidden strategies on how we can beat Diamond AI with this a little bit more consistently. The idea of like Fiesta, for instance, where you just leak almost every wave because they're sending you big anyway, would be kind of nice. You're gaining some of that gold back that you're losing early. You might be able to sustain a little bit better with Castle or Cartel now. YOLO giving you an extra +1 income gives you some more options. It might just be a little bit more of a an obvious thing to do times, but it's going to be difficult to kind of say. That being said, that is going to be the end of the Mastermind 2.0 section. So I'm going to add a mark